So the last part of the board that I want to review that's going to go into the last part of our conversation and lead me into the next portion of actually bringing these things to fruition is the 12-week year. So the 12-week year, oh my goodness, why can't I say it? So the 12-week year is a book. It's a New York bestseller, and it was written by, I want to say, Brian Morgan. I want to say that's the name of the author. I can double check that. But now this one is a book that I've heard about for years now. And I've had many different podcasters who shared it. There have been YouTube channels created, like the Audible, where they do the cartoons as they explain the book. That's always been a fun way for me to, well, since they start creating those, a fun way for me to get like the high level overview of books. So the 12-week year has been one that's been fascinating for me. And I've implemented some of it, like little pieces and parts, and it's helpful. But I want to actually read the full book, like many of the other books, read the full book and actually fully implement it. And so the 12-week year, this is a perfect time to do it because we're at the top of the year, and it can help set up your entire year. Now, my initial takeaway from the 12-week year, when I first heard about it, I don't know how many years ago at this point, I took it as that's very similar to what we do in business, and specifically the business of healthcare, when we do our strategic goals. And then from our strategic goal, which is normally a 3 to 5 year plan organizationally, from there, we then break it down to departmental goals, our annual goals, and then we do our biannual, and then we break it down to quarterly, and then we do check-ins, and we do weekly check-ins and one-on-ones, and check-ins with the broader team. So when I got the the high-level overview of the 12-week year, that's essentially what I took it as. Like, that was the concept. But again, I have not dove into it myself. So I want to dive into it myself to see if maybe there's some gems or jewels I haven't fully understood or grasped or learned about so I can implement it. But with what I know, how I'm going to use it without diving into it yet, what I'm going to do, and I've already started, is, okay, now I got this big old, amazingly beautiful, created board of my vision that I created and all of my intentions in the different areas of my life, right? So now what I'm going to do is this board, once I glue everything down, this will go up on my wall. From there, I have these little cool things. I found these at Family Dollar. They were only like $1.25, something like that, for a 5-pack. So this one is multicolored, and this one is all white. I will more than likely go with white because I like to keep with a theme. You see the theme behind me? My favorite color, blue. I want to keep with the theme, so I'll more than likely have the white poster boards on the wall and maybe give this to my daughter so she can do her version of this. She already did her big one, and maybe she want to do something small. So what I'm going to do is take these here miniature poster boards, and I'm going to have one for each quarter, right? One for each quarter. And so I'm going to have this big one again, the big one on the wall. This represents all the things that was up here. But now what I'm going to do is break it down into achievable missions. I'm a mission-oriented person. So instead of saying goals, I'll say mission, my intentions, my goals, whichever one you want to use. I like mission, I like intention. Only because goals seem played out, and I think the from goals is kind of like, it kind of goes out the window when you don't always hit your goals. So mission, intention, it just seemed like a little bit more packed behind that punch. And so I'll have one poster board for each quarter of the year. So when you have a 12-week year and you look at your full year, it's essentially breaking it down into 4 3-month quarters. That's exactly what we do in business. 4 3-month quarters. 4 times 3 is 12. That's your 12 months in a year, but you'll have 12 weeks in a year. So 12 weeks is equivalent to 3 months. That's the math. The math is mathing, okay? The math is mathing. Now, sometimes we do have 5 weeks in a month. We just gonna say the math is mathing, okay? The math is mathing. So 3 months for each board. Each 12-week year is 3-month time frame. Each 3-month 12-week year time frame will have its own board. You tracking? You follow me? So I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to make it look. I might break it up in quadrants. So I have the different areas I want to focus on. My brain health, which is inclusive of me moving my body, and nutrition, what I'm reading, where am I at with that, my relationships, your social well-being is so crucial. Isolation is a real thing. It is so freaking unhealthy. It is so freaking unhealthy. And it's so much research that is coming out now. You'll see more about it if you haven't already. It is so much research coming out detailing how being in isolation increases the likelihood that you will pass away early. So having healthy relationships is crucial. Being in isolation leads to depression. Having healthy relationships is crucial when we're talking about our overall health and well-being, our lifespan, and the quality of life that we have in that lifespan. I spent, again, a couple of years being in complete isolation, other than my kids and my direct family, like my mom and my siblings. But not having healthy relationships, being in isolation, increases depression, increases anxiety. It lowers your happy hormones. It lowers your desire to be into your own life and your desire to be completely who you were designed to be, who you were created to be, and to completely step into the wholeness of your being. So it is so important that we absolutely focus on, maybe that might be one of the most important parts of focusing on your overall health and well-being. For forever, I thought it was nutrition. Nutrition is an extremely major part. But the more I dove into holistic wellness and having my own experience with chronic depression, being in isolation, and PTSD, and all the things that it do to you mentally, emotionally, everything changed for me once I started getting into a relationship with people. Now, my relationship initially was virtually with my YouTubers, but it's still a relationship. My mentorships were virtually, right, with the virtual YouTubers. My therapist, I had a virtual YouTuber therapist before I had the real one. But being in a relationship, start where you can, based on your capacity, based on where you are, and then build from that. But you absolutely need to have healthy relationships in your life. Healthy relationship, healthy being the key word, healthy relationships in your life when we're talking about our overall health and well-being, because all those different dimensions of health and well-being, of wellness, it absolutely, you are at the center. It stems from you, your health and well-being. So you at the center informs all the other portions around your spoke, your wheel spoke. So your physical wellness, your emotional wellness, your social wellness, which I dare to say that it is the most important. Your spiritual well-being, your environmental well-being, your financial well-being, your occupational well-being, your intellectual well-being. And I think I said physical, but I'll circle back around to that as well. Those are the 8 dimensions of wellness. And so all those different spokes are so crucial. So I'll definitely have a quadrant here for holistic wellness, but all of this is a part of holistic wellness. But this part will be, it might not be right here, but the social well-being will be a big part of each quarter for the rest of my life. You absolutely need to be in community with people. We were not put here to do this thing alone. We were not meant to journey this life alone. We were not meant to solve problems alone. We were not meant to go through trials and tribulations alone. God made each of us for a reason. Each of us for a season, to be connected with one another for a season, whatever that season is. Some of us will be with each other for a lifetime. Some of us will be there for a specific season. And you were there to help a person get unstuck and to advance and to move forward and to step fully into who they are, who God called them to be. Because we all go off, right? And we all get lost. And we all get confused at certain parts of our journey. We all get stuck at certain parts of our journey. And so community, having a village is so crucial. Okay, remember that, it's so crucial. So this each board will represent a quarter, a 12-week year, and different sections, different quadrants, however I wanted to pretty it up, will have a highlight of what I want to accomplish in that 12-week year, in that quarter, in that 3-month time frame. All of those are the same. 12-week year, 3-month time frame, quarter, that's all the same. But it falls underneath the 12-week year book. So that's why I keep saying that. So what realistically do I want to achieve in this first quarter? Well, I've already done one of them, even though I didn't write it down. I spent a portion of my first quarter before I dove into anything else. I spent a portion of that just sitting with myself and just tapping into what is coming to me, what is speaking to me and through me, what is true to who my being is. And let me produce that on this vision board with what my intentions are. And now that I've done that, which is major, now let me extract from this vision board the intentions I want to go after in the first quarter. So a big part of my goal is done. My intentions are done for the first quarter. But now it's time to streamline it a little bit. Now it's time to make it actionable. So I got to extract what realistically I can do in the first quarter. And then realistically what I can do in the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter. Sometimes you set a goal, you set an intention to get something done the first quarter. Life happens, things come up. And then you were able to accomplish some things, and then other things might have to get pushed to another quarter. But you will always have wins. Because remember what I said, what Brian said. A win is a win. A win is a win is a win. Okay? So you will accomplish things in each quarter, no matter how big, how small. And then the things that you had an intention to, you might have to move it to another one. What I'm learning is that life really isn't linear. And that is hard for somebody who struggle with OCD and a little perfectionism, okay? Because we think that, and I can say it for myself, but other people that I've been learning about with their version of OCD, it's like things have to go like this. And when they don't go like this, it throws for a loop. It throws for a loop. And we are attached to things being linear. And we are attached to things having order. And for things to go in a certain sequence. But in reality, that's not life. Life can be like this. And circle back there. And go up here and go down there. All around, around, around. And that is challenging. That is challenging to accept. But I'm learning to. Thanks to therapy. Thanks to therapy. I'm learning to. So leave room to be flexible, for things to be fluid, but set an intention. It won't be perfect. It might not always go the way. My daughter's looking at me talking. No. You want me? You trying to say something? No, just agreeing. You agreeing? Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. that's my young big baby. Yeah. I ain't that big. Right? No, you're not that big. So things don't always go as we plan, because remember, there are controllables and uncontrollables. But if the majority of what you can control, you're golden. You're golden. That, like the 80%, we normally say 80% controllable, 20% uncontrollable. But if you control what you can control, you will be much further along than people who just throw a dart at the board in the dark, right? Like you have some type of plan, some type of intention, and you going forward in some type of way. So it don't have to be perfect. You're just making progress on what you have a desire for in your life. So that's what I'm going to do with these. I'm going to break down this bigger board and break it down into 4 different smaller posters, one for each 12-week year, one for each quarter. So I'm excited about that. That is my next step. That is my next step. Once I break down the 4 different 12-week year posters, I'll circle back to you all so I can give you a brief overview of what that looks like. And then from there, you have to trim it down even further. In order to be actionable, you'll have to like take the big overwhelming ideas that we have and then just slowly break it down so you're not overwhelmed and procrastinate or throw your hands up or give up on yourself before you ever start or think that it's too big for you. When you break it all the way down and you take that one step, and then another, and then you build it on top of it. You build it on top of it. And I believe that God meets you as you take a step. God take many more. And then it'll just come to you. It'll just start flowing. And that is what Michelle Obama meant. Practice who you want to be every single day. That's what it means, progress over perfection. For all of us procrastinators, I am a recovering procrastinator. Okay, I probably could have got an award in procrastination. Mind your business, yo. Mind your business. I don't need nothing from the peanut gallery. I probably could have gotten an award for procrastinating. Like, it was a career for me. Okay? And it was essentially all because having these big to-dos and not being able to take this busy mind of mine and streamline and just center myself and just focus on, instead of being overwhelmed by all the big stuff I have to do, just what is the smallest step that I can take to move myself in that direction? Even if I don't know all the answers, because the way my brain is set up, this OCD thing, and the perfectionism, and it ties into one another, I have to have all the answers. And realistically, you won't have all the answers. I got to know, what I need to know, what I didn't know I need to know before I needed to know it, which is so unrealistic. And I set myself a failure every time when I go through that cycle of perfectionism, which leads to procrastination. So you don't need to know all the things. And what has helped free me from that, and I do think this has been God revealing this to me over the years of me working in different levels of leadership, is seeing that leaders themselves, the people who are in leadership roles, they don't know all the things. They just know what they know at that moment. And they lean on other people who know more or who know more in the area that they don't know. That, again, is community. That is village. We need each other. What I don't know, somebody else knows. What somebody else don't know, I may know. We need each other. You don't have it all. And it's okay. This is what I have to tell myself. It's okay that you don't have it all. You weren't meant to know it all. There's only one being that knows it all. And it ain't you. And it's okay. It's okay. So that's my little message for my fellow procrastinators out there and my perfectionists out there. It's okay. Just take one small step and then take another small step and another small step, because all these small steps will lead to big changes. Look at that. All these small steps will lead to big changes. You better go. You better go and get it. Just go and make the small step. Go and make the small step. You hear? Go and make the small step. And when you take a small step, let me tell you the feeling of accomplishment that you have when you make a small step in the right direction, and then you make another small step and you gain momentum. This is how the big changes happen, because you gain the momentum as you take a small step, then another small step, then another small step. It is so beautiful to see, and it's so exciting. And then when you finally do achieve this big major thing that you didn't think you could do when you were at the very beginning stages, oh my goodness, the level of satisfaction and accomplishment, I love that feeling. I absolutely love that feeling. It's the little big things for me. It's the little big things for me. So that's what we're doing. When you set these vision boards, your intention boards, your mission boards, whatever you want to call them, you go big. Go big. All the things that are in you, put it out there. Don't worry about how you're going to achieve it. This is me reminding myself. Don't worry about how you're going to achieve it. Just put it out there. And then just reverse engineer it. I learned that word as I was learning about research in my bachelor's and master's degree program. You reverse engineer that thing. Reverse engineer it. So you can see it here. You can see it. I remember, I don't know who said it. As many people done said it, so I don't know who originated, but I know I've experienced it. God will send you visions of who you could be, of what you can do, and you will see it before you see it in real life. You will see it here spiritually before you see it manifested in real life. So you have to see it before you see it, even if you don't know how you're going to achieve it. Message. That's a whole word. Whole word. You have to see it before you see it. Before you know how you're going to achieve it, you have to believe it. That's good. That's good. So go big and then reverse engineer that thing and break it down. And I'll show you how I'm breaking it down every step of the way to achievable, actionable items. And yes, I will use the Smarty system that I first learned about years ago. I probably was in my earlier 20s. It was probably like 2014. 2014, we moved back here, and I start diving into being a health and wellness coach. So I learned about SMART goals, and over the years, I learned about Smarty goals. So I'll dive into that too. But that is it. That is it. That is it. That is it. And that's the feeling that I love. I love that feeling when I had this blank canvas and I had all the things that I wanted to do, and I had to print out all these pictures, and I had to find the pictures, and I had to pull all the notes that I put in my phone over the year that express who I am, because this stuff, I believe God downloads stuff into us all the time. God dropped things into your mind, into your memory, into your spirit. And I try to write down stuff in my notes in my phone. And so when it's time for me to sit down, I can just pull from that. Just pull from that. Pull what is true to me right now in this moment. And so going from a blank canvas and having all of this out here to having it visually here is an amazing feeling. It's an amazing feeling. I love it. It's the best. It's the best. It's the best. But one last thing that I forgot to mention that is super crucial is I give myself themes. Now, that is something I do every year. I give myself a theme. And that probably started 2018 when I started being like intentional with doing these boards. So I started giving myself themes. And, you know, when I first did, I think it was a scripture that I gave myself a theme with. But last year, my theme, no, it was the year before. The year before that, my theme was, I'm worthy and I'm worth it. Some along those lines. But the worthy was the main theme of the board. And that was around like me telling myself that I am worthy. That I am worthy for all these things that I desire. And the things that I desire was simply being well. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, physically, financially, like all the things, intellectually, being well. I was worthy of that life. Last year, my theme did not come to me at the top of the year when I first did my board. Last year, the theme manifested itself. It came to me as I was achieving things throughout the year. And the theme that came up last year, I was achieving things that I was afraid to go for and to do and to move towards. The theme last year that came as the year went on was, I can do hard things. I can do hard things. Last year was a major year of transitioning. Major year transitioning. Transitioning out of relationships, like finalizing, getting out of relationships that was no longer serving me well. Shifting from a position that was not serving me well. Shifting from behaviors that was not serving me well. Shifting towards things that would feed me and fuel me and serve me well. But moving out of relationships that I had been in for decades and a job that I had been in for years, my longest standing job that I've ever been in. My first home that I've ever owned, that I poured so much of myself, my being into, to set up an amazing home for my family. And I know it's other things like my finances and habits and being married to the couch and being stuck in depression, like all the things, and being stuck to who I was when I was in my survivor mode and needing to move towards who I needed to become to thrive. Survive to thrive, survive to thrive. And all of that was scary. It was scary. And some of it was terrifying, to be quite honest. And one day I'll go deeper into it. But every time I was afraid, last year, every time I was afraid, I would process that I was afraid. I would process my emotions, use what I learned in therapy. And then I would do it anyway. I would do it anyway. I would do it of being afraid. I would walk through that fear. I would assess why I'm afraid. And then I would walk through that fear. And really, essentially, why I was afraid is because it was something I had never experienced before. So I did not know what would be on the other side of what I was letting go. That's a whole word. I did not know what was on the other side. So it was the fear of the unknown. If I could do this, if what was going to be on the other side would be better for me or worse for me. If I would hinder myself, my growth, and my family by making these moves and decisions. So last year, the theme was, I can do hard things. Now, I'm continuing with that theme for this year because I still need to do hard things. But I do think that a bigger part of the theme will lead to something around my comfort zone and stepping into my new self. Because remember, we're always growing. We're always developing. And more as we go and as we take these steps, I believe that more of who we truly are and who we were meant to be will reveal itself to us. Our true self will reveal itself to us. And more of my older self will be there. And I will thank her for what she did for me in those seasons when I was surviving. And thinking that I was thriving in those seasons, I was thriving in those seasons. It was a part of survival. It was a part of thriving. But now it's moving on to a new level, a new season, a new leg of the journey. And so I can do hard things is definitely, I will still continue with that because you need to do hard things. You need to do hard things in order to get out of your comfort zone and fully step into who you are. Right? So I can do hard things, the breaking out of the comfort, like that's been an ongoing thing, but it's just growing. I think in addition to that, what I'm really focused on this year, like professionally, I got things I want to focus on. But it's challenging myself to go to higher heights and not be afraid to do that. Like stepping into this new version of myself where again, I will thrive. And I don't know how catchy it's going to be yet, but my themes are always catchy. It's always good. And it's always timely. And the funny thing is, God always showed me that, oh no, this is the theme. This is the theme of the season for a lot of people, not just you. It's a lot of people going through their journeys. But this reveals who you need to be connected to when they're going to through similar journeys. So, more to come on what my actual theme will be, but I'm continuing on. It's like you don't completely do away with the themes. I'm still worthy this year, even though my theme of being worthy was 2022 and 2023. I'm still worthy. I'm worthy every day of my life, right? Still worthy, but a new theme just festers up. It just like organically comes up, and it's just like what leads. It's what leads my decision making. And it's like the essence of my being and how I'm moving. So I'm still worthy. I'm still doing hard things. I'm still breaking myself out of my comfort zones because I still got a little bit more left. Still got some areas I still a little bit comfortable in. But slowly but surely it'll happen. It'll happen. And so when that theme actually like just get downloaded and it's just like it connects and the light bulb goes off, I'll share that with you all. But as of now, I'm going to continue walking my worthiness and continue to do hard things and continue to practice who I want to be every day. Oh, that's the theme. I forgot. It was a theme. Do it now. Do it now. I forgot. I did find that. That came to me. That came to me earlier this year. Do it now. Do it now is the theme. I completely forgot. Do it now is the theme. And the reason why it's the theme is before I talked about the procrastination. So I have talked myself out of opportunities to go after positions that I'm completely qualified for because of things on there that I might have thought that I'm not as qualified as other people that I don't even know if they're going for the job. I've talked myself out of that. I've talked myself out of going for things that has been downloaded in my spirit that I could absolutely go for, but I talked myself out of it. I talked myself out of connecting with people that I should have connected with, that I can tell that they were just brought to me for me to connect with. And I talked myself out of it because I was still struggling with what I was struggling with. And I wasn't ready yet. And I wasn't trusting people yet. And I didn't want to hurt people from my hurt. So I stayed away. And maybe that was a smart thing to do. But I talked myself out of it. So do it now, I believe, is the theme for this year. Do it now. Don't wait to do things tomorrow when you can do them today. Don't hold yourself back. Don't hold yourself back. So do it now, not later. Do it now. It don't have to be perfect. You just have to make progress. Do it now, Michelle. Do it now, Michelle. Do it now, Michelle. You don't have to know all the answers. Do it now, Michelle. If that grant come up, apply for it now, Michelle. Do it now. Do it now. If that job opportunity comes up and you're ready, actually, no. Take that away because you see what I was doing there? If you're ready. If that job comes up for you and it speaks to you, do it now. Go for it now. Don't make any excuses. Don't talk yourself out of it. Do it now. This is me looking at y'all, talking to y'all, but looking at me, talking to me first. Okay? Do it now. That's the thing. 2025. Do it now. 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 That's the thing. Unless something else come to me, that's the thing. So, and that is on my board. Do it now. I'm getting unstuck. I'm breaking off that procrastination, that perfectionism piece. Do it now. Okay. So that is it, y'all. That is it. Major accomplishment. The first quarter of the year. My call to action to you is, if you have not taken the time to just sit with yourself, gather your thoughts, see what comes to you, see what it is you have a desire to do, what you are drawn to, what you're intrigued about, what you want to go for, what you desire for yourself. beyond things. On this board, there are no things that I'm trying to, there's like no car. I didn't even put a dollar amount. That might come later. I do know I want the car that I do want, but it's not right now because I just paid off my vehicle, which was major. That was a major thing. Getting out of debt with that. Paying off my car, major win for 2024. But there is no like materialistic things on this board. So I challenge you that when you are sitting down doing your vision board, it's okay if you want to put that on there, but spend more quality time with yourself and getting with yourself and seeing what comes to you, what speaks to you, as to what direction you want to go in at this part of your journey, at this leg of your journey, at this season in your life. And it don't have to be a big elaborate board. It can be a smaller board. It could be a 8.5 by 11 paper. It could be a digital version, a virtual version, a digital version of a vision board, intention board, a mission board, whatever you want to call it. But I encourage you to just spend some time with just the quiet and see what God downloads into your spirit. See what comes to you. Because I think those are how they say the God. I think Tyler Perry is the one that call them God whispers. I like that. What whispers, what God is whispering to you? Because again, some of us might be lost and confused and we just out here doing our day to day. So see what comes to you. See what gravitates to you, what you're gravitating to. See what kind of wording come to you. And then find, like I just went on Google Images. I just typed in things that was on my list that I have been collecting throughout the year. And I typed it in. I have been keeping a list of the books I wanted to read. I had a desire to read last year, but not the capacity to read last year. But now I do. So I'm going to break it up like one a quarter. And I just went on Google, typed in the name, and then saved the image, copied and pasted to a Microsoft Word document and printed it out. Like, you just make it work. Like, do this for yourself. Do this for yourself. It is so satisfying. Satisfying. Very much so. But I encourage you to do this for yourself. And then from there, break it down and see what you can do. From your bigger vision, what small step can you do to accomplish in this first quarter? To just have a small win. Have a small win on the board for yourself. And then another small win, and gain that momentum. What is your board going to look like? I would love to see it. I would love to see what your board looks like, what you are going for, what speaks to you. And you don't have to put all the things on there. Some things you might want to keep to yourself, and that's fine. But I definitely think you should be able to showcase it for yourself. Even if you're not ready to share it with everybody else, you need to do it for you. You need to do it for you. I don't know what scripture it is, but I've been hearing about it since I was a younger kid or younger adult. Somewhere in the Bible that say, write the vision and make it plain. Write the vision and make it plain. So that's the first step of writing the vision and making it plain. You can see it. You can see it before you see it, and then you can see it to then manifest it. So tap into that. Tap into that. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I thoroughly enjoyed it. You know, first doing it with my kids and putting all that into them, and then having the time when I wasn't focused on them to just solely focus on myself. We all need that. We all need that. So much is thrown at us. So many things are influencing our decision making, how we view ourselves, how we view others, the things that we decide to go for in our life. So many things are influencing that with all this access to technology and this constant 24/7 access to us. Sometimes we have to check out from the world and check in with ourselves to see where we are, to see if this is what really rings true to us. And if it's not, pivot. Make an adjustment, like what I tell my daughter in the basketball game. If you don't like that move that you made on that play or the outcome that you had on that play because of the move you made or decision you made, pivot, adjust, make another decision to have another outcome. All right. So again, I hope this was as beneficial for you as it was for me. I enjoyed every moment of it. And I look forward to talking again and diving deeper and expanding on it and breaking it down and achieving things as we just journey this life together. All right. Until next time, folks, live well, live well, live well. Michelle out.